This is such a big thing, right?
Thank you.
Come on, Jim. Good morning, Colin.
Morning.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Hello and welcome to Qatar's first sports podcast, In the Game. I'm your host, Steve Mackey, and we can't wait to introduce you to everything that is sports here in Qatar and afar. We're going to be bringing you personalities, company owners, institutions, individuals that are making a real difference. So, with us, enjoy the journey.
Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. Today, it's a very special guest, Fabien. So that I can let people know, we brought some students over from the UK, from Wembley Stadium,
Yes.
UCFB. You were very kind to come and do a presentation for them. So I'm going to hand it over to you so you can tell everybody where you're from and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Fabien. I'm from France. I work for the Paris Saint Germain football club. I have been working for the club for almost 11 years now. I was based in Paris at the headquarters, and 2 years ago, I moved to Doha to take care of the Paris Saint Germain regional office in charge of the brand and business development for Middle East and India.
So while you've been here for 2 years.
Yeah.
You've done amazing things here. I know that we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, basically the main purpose of this office is to, first of all, promote the club, promote the brand, and better collaborate with all our sponsors, because we have huge sponsors from Qatar, whether it is Ooredoo or QNB, Bein Sports, or some other big I would say key players in Doha. So the idea is to activate our partnership together to run event, whether it is in Qatar or in the region, and obviously to, as I said, promote the brand, develop our revenues. So we have a retail store in Doha, so sell jerseys and merchandise. We just opened a football academy for all the youth in Doha, fan of football, who wants to learn how to play the Paris Saint Germain way. So yes, it's very exciting, and Qatar is a nice place to be when it comes to sport.
What I find quite staggering, we had a conversation before the podcast, but what's staggering for me is that you've got 400 members to this academy right now.
Yeah, definitely. So after 6 months, we've got like 400 members, and we have a long waiting list. So the idea is to expand the program within Qatar. So we're looking for new facilities, new fields, to give this opportunity to a maximum of young players in Doha.
So I'm going to take you back a little. I know that your presentation was fantastic, and with what Paris Saint Germain is done with the football in France is quite, like, your facilities are quite impressive, right?
Yeah, definitely. What we have been doing over the last 8 years was to try to, how can I say that, catch up with the main and biggest European clubs, and I think we have achieved a great job now. When Qatar invested in Paris Saint Germain, we were like a good French club. Now you can consider that Paris Saint Germain is an international brand, an international company with a huge notoriety all over the world. So it's been like a very, very exciting time, I would say. And we've done like an amazing job, whether it is from a brand perspective or revenue perspective. So
I wasn't one of these people, but I remember years ago when it was announced that Qatar was going to purchase.
Yeah.
And I suppose there were so many critics out there that was going to say, oh yeah, let's see how this goes. And it's just like what they're doing with the country. They're doing amazing things with the country. We talk about it on a weekly basis, but they've kind of taken this and they've taken it to another dimension, right?
Yeah, I think this is the I would say the Qatar DNA. I mean, when they invest in any business or whatever, they do it in the right way. They have their goals and they know where they want to go. So that's why they put all their efforts to achieve, and this is what they have been doing with Paris Saint Germain. I was part of the club before the purchase of the club by Qatar, so I knew the old PSG, if I can say, with the previous owner, and the ambition, the vision was totally different. So from one day we had a new vision, we had a new ambition, and we had to achieve something very, very quickly. So, but it's amazing. I think it's a good opportunity for anyone to be part of a company investing a lot and giving the financial resource to achieve.
And we talk about the financial resource, but obviously that's important. But what they've done with that money is just it's all about development, right?
Yeah. I mean, financial resource is one thing, but then you have to put a strategy and to define how you're gonna spend your money to be successful. And that's why it was not only about money. It was about money, but about putting the right people within the organization, able to define the strategy and to lead us to the success. So, and to be honest, after a few years, we've done an amazing job, and there's still a lot to achieve because there's still like big sports competition that we haven't won yet. But from a brand perspective, it's just amazing what PSG has been doing. So
and your training facilities. I remember you saying that it's going to be one of the biggest training.
Yes, definitely. It's one of the other investment. We know that to become like successful from a sports perspective, we need to invest in our future stars. And to train our future star, we need to offer to our youth team the best facilities ever. So we just started building our new training facilities. It should be ready within 2 or 3 years. And yes, it's going to be one of the best football facilities in the world because we have taken a long time to benchmark, to visit so many sports facilities, whether it is in Europe, in US, in Asia, and to bring the best from all of those facilities to build up our own facilities. So yeah, it's going to be something very exciting.
So you worked, what were you said that you were with them before the sale. What was the major changes in that stage that really stand out for you?
The major changes is just the ambition. Guys, Paris Saint Germain is a French football club, but we want to turn this club into a global sport franchise, well known all over the world. So before the Qatar investment, when you were talking about Paris Saint Germain abroad, most of the people, they were like, "What? PSG? What is this? A French football club?" Because we didn't have the international exposure, whether it is through sports, let's say, performance or media. Sports performance, we were playing the European Cup, but we were not like a key player of this European Cup. So we didn't have the exposure in Asia, in US, and all of these key countries when it comes to the development. From a brand perspective, we were not focused on that. Like we were not like developing the club as a proper brand. With this investment, the point was very clear. We want to become one of the strongest sports franchise from a sports perspective, but we want to become as well an international brand. So it was the main objective and the main, let's say, issue for us, like people being part of the club. It was something new. How can we get this exposure and how can we become this international brand? How can we make the people think that PSG is not only a football club, is a brand. So it was the main challenge, and we did it through different way, and I think it's working well.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's working well, and it's kind of with the talk that we've had from you, it was just such an eye opener because it wasn't most clubs are just throwing money into. But it was the development side of things. That was the key to the story that you said.
And it was the vision as well, because to be honest, what they did when the new management arrived, they just said, like, they just give us something that we knew before, but we didn't realize how impactful it was.
Yeah.
I mean, they just said, look, guys, Paris Saint Germain is the only club in Paris.
Yeah.
It's not like you go to London, you have 4 or 5 big clubs.
Yeah.
You're the only professional club in Paris. And Paris is one of the most beautiful and one of the best city in the world.
Yeah, it is.
So to promote the club, use the Paris assets, the Paris values and identity to promote your own club. Your club is called Paris Saint Germain. So people, they should think about Paris when they think about Paris Saint Germain.
Yeah, of course.
And vice versa, actually. So this is how we turned the club into a brand.
Yeah.
We started using the Paris, like Paris identity, Paris values, and all of this, and we started applying those things to our club and make this club as like a lifestyle club, as like sexy club, and all of this prestige and all of those values.
It's kind of from my side, it's you just think about all the players that's gone there, and it's kind of made an impact. As you said, the vision, the ambition, it's pretty big. I want to go back to so you came here 2 years ago, when you were moving from Paris to here. How did you feel? What did you?
To be honest, it was my choice first because I was traveling back and forth between Paris and Doha for different reasons with PSG. And the first time I came, it was I think 2012 or 13, I don't remember. I fell in love with the city, with the environment, and from that day, I said to the management, if there is any project in Qatar, I want to be in. So it took some time before, before making the decision and send like someone representing the club here. But yes, they made this decision, and in 2017, let's say 4 years after my first visit, they said, okay, let's go ahead. We need someone. We have big challenge in Qatar. We have big asset, big sponsors. We need someone to coordinate everything on ground. So please go to Qatar. And I was very happy, and especially with the current situation. I mean, the World Cup is coming now. There's so many huge sports events in Qatar. So Qatar is a place to be when it comes to sports events development. So I'm very happy to be here actually.
Yeah. No, that's very good. And I want to ask you also, is it okay? Everybody could say, Paris Saint Germain.
Yeah.
What were when you came here and you wanted to improve your brand and you wanted to bring the brand? Oh, okay, you had a good brand to work with, but the fundamentals in business stay the same. What was it that you first attacked when you first came here? How did you, from all those people out there that's going to start a sports business or that type of thing, and they're thinking about establishing here, what were the first things that you tried to implement?
But first of all, I think the main challenge, whether you are Paris Saint Germain or another brand, when you want to start, you need to let's say to attract the people. You need to catch the people. So as I told you before, when I reached Doha 2 years ago, people obviously they knew about Paris Saint Germain, but they were less involved in the daily life of Paris Saint Germain because of their most of the local people here they love the Spanish club, and which I can understand, obviously Barcelona, Madrid, and they have this identity. And then my main challenge was to tell them, guys, Paris Saint Germain, there is huge ambition, is owned by the country, so we need your help to be stronger. And I think they got it, and this you can achieve it by getting a better exposure to your brand, and getting a better exposure to your brand. You can do that through media on a daily basis, but you can do that on ground as well by running events and invite them to come to when there is the sports day. You run a PSG event. We're supposed to come like every year with the professional team to Doha for a winter camp. So when the team is here to organize event for the fans to be able to interact with the players and give them like some special treatment and show them that we do care of them and we want them to be on board and we need their support to achieve. So it's mainly that, and still it's not like. It's not, how can I say that? It's not finished. I mean, we need to be a club let's say, a multinational club. We're not targeting only expat French people or Qataris. It's the club should be for everyone, whether you are Indians and or Pakistanis or English or French or whatever. You should become a PSG fan. This is our message. So the club is for everyone. You're more than welcome, and that's why here we are trying to touch the different communities, because which is exciting in Qatar is, I don't know how many nationalities you've got in Qatar, but it's huge. So we're trying to find a way to interact with all of those people, to go to their place and to give them like a special experience.
And it's so true. I've been personally helping companies start up for the last 8-9 years here in Qatar, and the most thing is that we've had some pretty successful companies that come here to try and establish. And the biggest thing is, it doesn't matter how big your name is. It's still hard work to break through, because you've got to come and build that rapport, going out to people, meeting people, building that credibility. And it's funny that you should say that was one of the hardest things to overcome.
See, that's the main point. You have to go to the people. I mean, PSG, the club is, let's say, facing this challenge every day. I mean, we want to increase our fan base and we want to interact with people all over the world, but you don't do that in the same way according to the location. So you're not interacting with the people in the same way, whether you are in Brazil or in China, or they don't have the same expectation, they don't have the same lifestyle. So you have to implement in your strategy some, let's say, local things to talk their language. That's why we decided, as most of the big European clubs, we decided to open international offices. So we have an office in Doha, we have an office in Singapore, and we have an office in US, to have like people talking to the local market, whether it is sponsors or local community or fans, and to try to better understand their expectation and their daily lifestyle, and better interact with them. And this is how it works.
So we've gone through that. You worked on the branding. You were a pioneer here. And you're a very busy man. It's very. I'm very lucky that you can get.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. It's because I know that you're so busy. I want to touch on the academy. Because if you've gone through that short process in time, and everybody out there there's going to be a few people out there that's going to look up and say, but there's Paris Saint Germain. You've had to roll your sleeves up and organize this academy, and the result so far is incredible. 400 people.
Definitely. This is how it works, and yes, we had to work hard to be able to set up this academy. It's not because we are PSG that all the doors are open. And because PSG is owned by Qatar, we follow the same procedure as everyone. And to open an academy in Doha, you have to get approval from the sports ministry, from QFA, and we went through the whole procedure. So we worked hard to be able to deliver this academy. It was a challenge as well to bring like at least one technical director from France with this PSG, DNA and methodology. So we did it. We bring this guy. We identify some very, very good coaches locally as well. And yes, it was a challenge to build up the team and, to start the activities. And so far the results are very good, actually.
Yeah, I've heard a lot.
But we want to do much more, because 400 people compared to the local population, it's nothing. So we want to expand. We want to give this opportunity to all the people willing to join us, because we don't want to have any frustration. And I hope we will be able to do that in the coming weeks.
So you're open to expat? You were saying it's expats and Qataris?
It's open to expat, to Qataris. There is no nationality or skill selection. Whatever is your level, come, play, and according to your level, you will play in a specific group. We will adapt the training session to your level, actually. So it's open to everyone, boys and girls. So we are working hard as well to launch a kind of like program for disabled people. So
Yeah.
we want, because it's not only about like, having an academy and having registration, and like we want to be involved in the daily community life.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to, once again, to offer the opportunity to anyone who wants to join. So even like you're disabled or whatever, PSG will come to you and will try to give you a special experience. That's because amazing. You deserve it. Yeah. So this is something that we are working on now.
That is amazing. It's kind of and again, I keep on talking about how Qatar is great for the sports industry. It's one of their biggest industries. Education, obviously, oil and gas, education, and medical. But sports is right up there, and they do so much for it. They're doing so much. The golf club, and I keep on. Everybody's going to think that they're sponsoring me to say this, but the golf club. Do you play golf?
No, I don't play golf.
It's incredible. The one at Sports City. It's a brand new academy, and it's going to be a world leader in education side of things. And they're doing so many different things where it comes from a sport. And then you've got companies like yourself or teams that are coming here and doing exactly the same for handicap. I would love. I know that we've got our own street soccer that we do here, but there's people out there. They just want to have some fun. They just want to have some fun. They want to try and push themselves too. It's fantastic what you're doing, and I congratulate for you because I know how hard you work. The one thing that I know that people are shouting out. Okay, talk about the players. Come on. Are you a fan of Paris Saint Germain?
Yeah, of course. I think it's. I wouldn't say that it's an obligation, but if you're a fan of the club that you work for, obviously you will give the best of yourself, and you will give even more. Yeah. So, and that's why I think most of the employees they make a lot of concession, and they don't count their working hours. They just want to deliver. They just want to achieve, because at the end of the day, it's a pride to be part of a big football club like that. When you've been inside for a while, like me, sometimes you don't realize, but when you're outside and someone asks you what do, you just say I work for Paris Saint Germain. That like you feel that they could kill anyone to join the company, and then you realize, okay, I'm a lucky guy. I should enjoy it. I should give more, because there is thousands of people behind me waiting for my position or whatever. So you know what I mean?
But I know with you've got to work. You're gonna have to work so hard to try and get your position.
Yeah. So and then I do consider that I have this chance not to go to the office on a daily basis like upset or sad, or you know what I mean. I'm always like happy face, smiling, because I'm part of a big sports company. So it's like, a pleasure to work.
You know something, I say this on a life. Sometimes work is just a stage that you've got to come on, and depending on your job, and I say this so much, listen, whatever's going on in your life behind, enjoy what you do. You've got to love what you do, and I'm very privileged to be doing this podcast, because the type of people that I like yourself, the type of people I meet, they're just that type. They've got you said about the DNA. They've just got it in their DNA. Yeah, it's incredible. So your players, I know that they're all starting. So who's your favorite players? What's happening at Paris Saint Germain at the moment?
To be honest, my favorite player at this time, I would say Mbappe, because Mbappe is the new superstar. He's part of our team. He's a French player who helped us a lot to win the World Cup with the French team. So to me, Mbappe is gonna be the best player. So I'm fan of Mbappe, but then I like all the players, because at the end of the day, I don't see those players as football players. We're working for the same company. For them, it's like football is a game, but they are Paris Saint Germain employee. So we are like, in a way, colleagues, and we want to achieve the same things. We don't do the same things actually on a daily basis. They train, they play to make the club successful, and we are working hard to make the club successful on the marketing and business side. But at the end of the day, we want the best for Paris Saint Germain. So we're like colleagues. So for me, they are all important. There is no like, I have my favorite player, but there is no level. You know what I mean? They are all the same level. They are all important, and we are all the same team. So that's the main message for me.
I suppose if I look at, because I do like following and seeing what you're doing there. But the one that I used to dislike most of all was Zlatan, the striker, the big striker. He's now at MLS.
Zlatan, yeah. Zlatan was, Zlatan will definitely remain as how can I say that, like as a key player in Paris Saint Germain, because Zlatan joined the club at the beginning of the new story. So basically, when Qatar Sports Investment purchased the club, before working on the marketing strategy and all of these things, the first things to do was to send a strong message to the football industry by attracting player. Yeah. And Zlatan was one of the first big players joining the club. And from that day, he took the club to the next level. Because PSG was like the French capital football club. Zlatan joined. We became in 24 hours an international club. People, they were talking about us in China and all over the world. So yeah, it will remain as like a crazy player, and he's a charismatic player. So
yeah, I said that I didn't like him at first. I've got the utmost respect for him now because he just produces, and it doesn't matter what people are saying about him. It's like he's just fantastic.
Sometimes people doesn't like him because of his behavior and way of like, they feel like he has too much ego and like he doesn't respect people, which is not the case. And what we learn as well from Zlatan is professionalism, to be honest. When he joined the club, he was like, guys, if you want to achieve, and he was more talking about sports perspective, if you want to achieve, we need to train more, we need to commit more, we need to do that. And he brought all his experience from all the other big clubs to Paris Saint Germain to implement new rules, like a new philosophy, new sports philosophy. And it was really helpful at the beginning because we had to change, and the let's say the timeline was really short. So we needed those guys with this experience to help us.
Yeah, I must admit, I kind of what he's doing. I just like him now. He just tells it how it is. He's pretty straightforward. He's not going to lie for the camera. He's just going to give it his direct answer. I really do like him, and that goal that he scored for MSL was just incredible.
I mean, look, he went to MLS, and now people in MLS, when they talk about football, they talk about Zlatan because his behavior, obviously, but because of his performance in field as well. So I mean, recently I've seen that he scored a hat-trick in a game, in one of the most important games for the team. So like, he's really performant, but this is because he works a lot.
So such a professional. He doesn't give in. And so what's the outlook in the next year? What's coming up for PSG and here in Qatar?
I mean, whether it is in Qatar or like more globally, I mean, the same vision. Still work, and continue to grow and continue to become like one of these big sports brand. So we still have a lot to achieve in different markets, not only Qatar, but in US, in Asia. So we have a lot to do, and I'm sure it will be like a successful time again because, as I told you, we have the chance to work with, whether it is the player or the employees. We're all focused, and we're all like targeting the same thing, like making the club bigger and achieving. And so.
And I just wish you all the success.
Thank you.
Very quickly, how do they get in contact with you? They go to your website for the academy?
Yeah, we have a website. They can go on our website, www.psgacademy.qa, or they can call us. So we have our social media platform, Instagram, PSG Academy Qatar, Instagram, Facebook. So it's easy to get in touch with us. And once again, this program, and not only any Paris Saint Germain event in Qatar, is open to everyone. Yeah. So wonderful. You're more than welcome.
Perfect. Honestly, it's an absolute privilege you coming on the show today.
Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm just going to quickly finish off here by saying, look, just because you've got something like Paris Saint Germain, I know this guy, Fabien. He works his backside off, let me tell you. And what they've achieved here in Qatar isn't just given to him on a silver spoon. They've actually worked, and they've put the skin in the game. the things that they're doing here is incredible. And I know that all the events that you run as well, and when the players come over, it's just an amazing job that you've done here. So everybody learn from, I hope you've learned some really good points here today. Okay, get out there and just work hard. That's the only thing that you can do. If you've got that burning desire and want to succeed, you can do it. Okay, so thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been a privilege. Everybody, until next time, catch you soon. Bye bye for now.